Hi folks, welcome to the Triangle Talks with Thang. This is episode 1. Our guest today is Rupa Pereira, and she will introduce herself in a minute. But the idea of this show is, it's called Triangle Talks with Thang because it's around here in the greater Raleigh area, Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh mix, the Triangle. And well, through my little bit of networking and Toastmaster and other adventures around Triangle, I found some people that are pretty cool, and I think you should know about them. So welcome to today's first guest. Welcome, Rupa. Why don't you start us by telling a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Thanks, Thang, for welcoming me with kind words. And yes, Thang and I know each other from Toastmasters Apex. It's been a year since I've gotten to know him. And he's quite an enterprising gentleman, and I believe I'm his first guest on this show. I am the founder and CEO of a beauty tech platform for salon and spa professionals. It's called Imbue, as in I'm beautiful. And prior to that, I used to have a career in the corporate sector, in spanning verticals such as the government, financials, technology, pharmaceuticals, and being a technologist, being a business strategist, and most recently a finance director. That is in a nutshell of where I am currently in my journey. A corporate in my prior life, entrepreneur, first-time entrepreneur in my current life.
So, as a first-time entrepreneur, you know, how many months has it been, or has it been a year yet? What is the timeline here since the first day? You know, what was that like? Were you eating cereal and one day you're like, oh, that's it?
Well, the idea starts coming into your head, and then there are a bunch of ideas. Oh, you know, I wish I could do this and I wish I could do that. And then the idea starts brewing, and then you start talking to people. So I would say it's been a year since I've been talking to people, iterating on the idea. It started off as a customer advocacy platform, and realizing that I need to work with professionals because they are the experts in advising us on our beauty regimen. And it's been about 4 months since I have embarked on this business model, and I would say that the last 4 months have been the real concrete time. Is the real concrete time I've been spending on Imbue. But the ideation, the conception took 12 months. Definitely not 9 months, as my 2 daughters took.
Cool. Wow. I got you right when you started, so that's cool. That's exciting. What so far? What is the most biggest challenge that you didn't see? And you have a lot of help. You spend time calcifying this idea, like test proving it, so to speak, right? But still, once you started, there are still things that you didn't see coming. What was one of the biggest one that you? Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Well, that's a great question, Thang. And every day I ask myself when I wake up in the morning, I wake up twice, once at 3 and once at 6, and I ask myself, do I want to keep doing this? Is this worth all the effort? And I'm not even talking about the financial cost, I'm talking about the emotional cost. It is very emotionally draining.
Your heart.
It is, there are times when you're completely in the hole and you just don't know what will get you out of it. And you have to keep talking to yourself, building yourself up, talking to people who are with you, maybe just in spirit, or they just want you to see you succeed, or they believe in the mission. So these quiet moments of self-doubt, they happen quite often in the early stages, especially because you're not too sure about how the market is going to respond, and how are you going to keep yourself funded, and all the big questions. But yes, those are the biggest challenges, is to just keep boosting myself, talking to myself, which is how Toastmasters helps, because I don't just talk to myself, I talk to a bunch of people, and they're very supportive.
That's awesome. In regards to the environment, right? A lot of startups are in the Silicon Valley because of the networking, and just because everybody is there, essentially. How do you think, compared to that, where we are and what you did, do you think that this is the okay city to do it? Do you have the support structure here, so to speak?
Well, what I will say is Silicon Valley is no doubt the true north, but there are a lot of tier 1 cities that are emerging, and Durham is called the startup capital of the South, and it is a hub for Google entrepreneurs. Triangle purely because the cost of doing business is so much cheaper here, and you have access to a lot of talent. So I won't say as a tech startup I'm at a disadvantage. Yes, I might not be able to pitch to like-minded folks, women entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, and kind of get the response, but I think that builds up the resilience, and then
Yes.
if you can really succeed here, then you can succeed anywhere.
Awesome. Well, our time is actually running up. It was quite short, and so you learned a little bit about Imbue. Tell us, for the people, one last thing for the people that's out there, having an idea or thinking about maybe, I could just work with her. How do I go about finding more about you? And, just to ask questions. Let's say they start as their first month, having an idea. What should they do? How do they reach you?
Okay, so I think there are two questions. One is if they're interested in knowing more about Imbue or kind of getting to know how they could work with the startup, either partnership or working directly. And second is if they have an idea of their own, how do they go about doing that? The first is you could reach me on LinkedIn, Rupa Pereira, on Twitter, Rupa Pereira, or my company, imbeau.co, or you can reach out to Thang through the link that he would send on LinkedIn. Either would work. The second part is if you have an idea of your own and you're looking to kind of flesh it out, talk to people. The only way you have to get it out of your head. Talk to people, check the response. Do not be disillusioned by the first response you get. Keep talking to people, and the more you talk, the more you convince yourself, the more you convince others. And you sooner or later you will realize, okay, this is something I need to spend more time on, or this is something I need to shelve and work on something else.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being my guest for the first episode of Trying to Talk to Thang. Sign off. Peace. All right. Take care.